Welcome, Age of Ultronites,
Eh,
to Geek Salad and our Road to Infinity War. This is number 11 in our list, counting down. This was the 11th movie.
no. I was just saying wow because there's a VCR behind you. I'm like, what the hell is that? Oh, that's a VCR.
This is a relic of the past. It is called a VCR.
Video cassette recorder.
Yes, which I am playing Age of Ultron on right now. So, yeah,
You
new setup.
nicer.
You can actually see me now. Like you can totally see me now. I don't know why I didn't think about this earlier, but well, we only have like 8 more of these movies to do. So
Yeah.
it's almost like I got the whole thing, halfway. So
Yeah,
we'll
but hey, for any videos we do beyond that, we're in the bonus.
There you go. So anyway, yes, today Mike and I are going to discuss Age of Ultron on our road to the next Avengers movie, Infinity War, which has now been bumped up to April 27th.
Which we will be able to get through all these videos. So just our Black Panther review is going to be literally like 1 or 2 days before Infinity War comes out.
And essentially we scuttled our special. We got to just scuttle our special episode that we were going to do for that week. Maybe we'll still do it. Who knows? Maybe we'll do it after Infinity War.
Yeah, why not?
Ongoing series. So anyway, yes. So let's talk about same things we always talk about. Mike, what works about the sequel to the billion-plus grossing Avengers?
I think a lot of the movie works. I mean, for one, the chemistry between the team has never been better. You got all the playing offs, the intro of new characters, especially Scarlet Witch, Vision, hell, even Ultron, very well done.
Yeah.
And I mean, just the action scenes are fantastic. The humor at it is at its best. I think this movie gets a lot of. I can't say the S word because then Cap will have to ding my language, but I think it gets a lot of guff, and I'm not sure why because it's a damn fine movie.
It suffers the sin of not being the original Avengers.
That's fair.
Yeah, exactly. It's I think what works about this movie is that it doesn't try to out-Avenger the Avengers. That's the big thing. I think in the second go, Joss Whedon did a really good job of kind of pulling back because this could have easily been that type of Michael Bay thing where, more explosions. It's part 2. We have to have twice as many explosions.
And shorter skirts.
Yep. This movie does I honestly think it's a better character piece than the first movie.
Absolutely. Especially for characters that maybe could use a little bit more characterization in the first movie, namely Hawkeye. I think Hawkeye especially in the middle part, he got really center stage.
I was actually going to bring this up as a separate why this movie works, but we can talk about it now. I know a lot of people who hate the farm scene because it puts the brakes on the entire movie and there's no action. And, that to some may be a bad thing. Honestly, it might be one of the best scenes in the entire MCU cinematic universe. It's there to, first of all, slow down and take a breath, but allow the characters to interact with each other, not as superheroes, but as human beings.
Yeah, that is extremely well put. I mean, that they're larger than life. They've got all the action sequences. I mean, the entire first maybe 20 minutes of the movie is a huge extended action sequence, which is fantastic. But when you do slow it down and you get these just character moments like Black Widow and Banner together,
right?
And you've got Captain America and Tony Stark having their little back and forth. And even Hawkeye and his wife having their little moments.
Right.
They're moments that just they're not action packed, but they make these characters 3-dimensional. They make them stand out, come alive for you.
Exactly. It's that scene works because of that. And then when that scene ends, you are back in the action. And I mean, one of the things I don't think worked about the movie it's a quibble. If anything, it's a quibble. That they do try to, there was definitely too much late second act story building that they're trying to do just to jackhammer things in, which brings in Vision, which worked. I thought Vision worked wonderfully. And I love it. Essentially, it's just the living embodiment of Jarvis.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a fantastic use of Paul Bettany. I think that he's been kind of underutilized as an actor. Not in these. I think he's done an okay job in these. But generally as an actor, I think he's been underutilized. So this really is a nice way of bringing him in.
Yeah, I mean, his birth scene. I mean, after he bursts out, and there's that little fight, but then he's just like floats over and he's just looking at himself in the window, and the others like kind of charging for it, and Thor's like, "Hold off, no, hold on." And he just like is staring at himself. It's like that's the first time he's actually seeing himself.
Exactly.
He was literally born like 30 seconds before, and it was a beautiful moment. And again, Paul Bettany. Paul Bettany's just one of those actors that whenever he shows up, he's very memorable.
Yeah, I agree with that. I completely agree with that. And it's just because Vision's always been kind of like a secret favorite of mine. There's nothing, he doesn't do anything spectacular, but he's always been kind of a cool character. And it's the way he's embodied in this movie is very similar to how I remember him being in the comic books.
Yeah, I never really got too much into him in the comics. I always thought he seemed like very kind of robotic in a sense.
Yeah,
I don't know how that. That he is.
He's a robot.
But I thought he had a lot of really quality moments in this movie, especially the scenes between him and Ultron.
Yeah,
those are some damn fine scenes.
Okay, well, you know what? That's a good segue. Let's talk about Ultron. James Spader works in this movie. He really, truly does. I like that. This is a very different Ultron that I kind of heard in my head reading the comic books. I was actually having a discussion with somebody at work about the design of Ultron, and they were just like, he looks too much like a ram, like a goat person, because of the things on the side of the helmet and everything. And okay, but I did, I had to kind of go do the filmmaker 101 thing. It's like they definitely tried to render the comic book version, and it doesn't look right.
Yeah,
and that's why Ultron that we got.
What I like about the design of Ultron is they even kind of say, they allude to it in the beginning of the South Africa scene. It's like he is kind of trying to be human, despite the fact that he really doesn't like the humans.
Right.
He's trying to become human, but better than humans. That's why he creates for himself a human-like body. He's trying to prove that, I am you, but I'm better. I'm the better version of you.
Right. It's very much like a Star Trek episode where, he's just looking for perfection in humanity. He finds them, so he's got to destroy everything.
So he's V'ger.
Yes. Yeah.
Going deep dive there.
Not really. It's the first movie. You don't have to delve that deep when you're scraping the surface.
Well, come on. Who really watches the first movie anymore?
Well, they watch the first movie. They just have a difficulty staying awake for it. A motionless picture indeed. Let's talk about some of the newer characters. I really feel that both Ashley Olsen and no, it's not Ashley Olsen. That's one of the actual twins.
Yeah, no, this was damn.
Elizabeth Olsen.
Yes. And then
and the other guy whose name I keep forgetting. Quicksilver.
Taylor Johnson. Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yeah. I thought they were good additions to the movie. They didn't really take up. They didn't steal the show, nor did they need to steal the show. In fact, I kind of like that. Proceeding with this, that that the Scarlet Witch is the most powerful character in MCU.
Oh yeah. I mean that really stood out. I watched it yesterday, and it stood out to me, especially the end scene. Yeah, if you haven't seen it already, spoilers here. But when Quicksilver dies, and she lets off that burst of energy,
yeah,
she doesn't destroy the Ultron robots. She disintegrates them. They atomize.
Yeah,
they turn into dust, and then he's got a vibranium body. She bends vibranium and pulling that heart out of his chest.
Yeah,
that's someone you don't want to piss off. She is more powerful than anything else we've ever seen.
And I think that they did a great job with that. I also think that another thing they did a really good job in was kind of moving the story forward, where it did feel like they were disbanding the original Avengers and moving to the new Avengers at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
The just introducing them as the new team, the new untested team, and that is your actual Avengers going forward.
Right. I mean, that's the team that you next see in Civil War.
Yeah, exactly. Is there anything I'm missing on what worked?
A quick shout out. I got a little nice little. When I was rewatching, I was like, wait, that's Helen Cho. That's Amadeus Cho's mother.
Okay.
So we could see Awesome Hulk sometime. Who knows?
Who knows? All right. So what didn't work about Age of Ultron?
The big thing that kind of stands out to me that occurred to me again when I was watching it yesterday. The scene. This is a scene that everybody mentions. The scene of Thor in the pool. You really could have taken that scene out, had him show up later and mention the Infinity Stones, and the movie, I think, would have been better for it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that this is where they tried to sell too much for this next thing. I mean, this movie is a gateway. This movie is a gateway for how you can split up the Avengers, yet still have the Avengers, and get everybody kind of back together for Infinity War. Because at this point, we knew we were getting Infinity War. There was nothing stopping any of these movies.
Yeah, that's the scene where they kind of Iron Man 2 did.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely the most egregious of the hallucination scenes that they had. I also kind of feel like the stuff with Natasha. First of all, in its defense, it could definitely build for a really good standalone movie.
Yeah. Oh, well,
everything.
Supposedly, we are getting a Black Widow movie, so
we'll see. We will definitely see about that. But yeah, I mean, not a whole lot doesn't work about this. I kind of feel that they leaned very, very heavily at the end towards plot convenience.
Yeah.
In terms of you can stop Ultron by cutting off his connection to the internet, and Vision's just like, yep, done.
Yeah.
Now all you have to do is destroy all the others, and then not let them assimilate.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a kind of an easy out, but I mean, it's Ultron. Yeah, I mean, Ultron, the very nature of Ultron is he's trying to disseminate himself. So if you didn't do that, I mean, this isn't like a comic book where you can have him show up in 5 issues again.
Right.
It's kind of going to be a self-contained story. So it's a plot convenience, but it was a plot convenience because of the nature of the medium.
Exactly. All right, so next question. How does this fit into the overall MCU?
Well, I mean, very well. Obviously, like we just mentioned, this is the movie that introduces us to the new team.
Yeah.
That we see next in Civil War. And it does also start. I mean, especially in the scene where Cap and Tony are talking at the farm, that you are very, especially hindsight, you are very aware that that is the beginning of Civil War right there. What they're talking about.
And we knew about Civil War beforehand too. So it definitely, between that, the highlights of splitting the team at the end of the movie. It also starts to really open up the world too of Wakanda.
Yes. Lucy's Claw.
First real true mention of Wakanda. Andy Serkis is always as brilliant, and he's brilliant as Ulysses Claw. There was some really nice stuff we didn't mention in the what works about it. But I think it melds in nicely, and then obviously will move the story forward. A year later with Civil War, and now with Black Panther, with that character. And also introduce elements too, like the Hulkbuster armor, which will come back. Obviously, it definitely feeds in to Ragnarok.
Yeah,
Some
very much so.
Not so good. You already mentioned the not so good, but just the fact that Hulk stole a Quinjet and flew into space.
Yeah, I love how at the end they kind of dropped that. Like, we found this thing that crashed into Fiji, but we couldn't quite tell what it was. So you think that that's it, but then you learn Ragnarok. Nah, that was something else. This was actually, you know what? That's a little Easter egg that they could maybe use sometime else.
Maybe. But it definitely fits in well. I mean, there's no Infinity Stones, but we do have that soul bumper at the end of the movie.
Well, there is one Infinity Stone.
That's right. That's Vision's Infinity Stone, that's the same one from Loki's scepter, though. So it's not really been introduced.
But actually, when they were talking about, like, when Tony was talking about the AI inside the gem, and they were talking about how this is an alien AI, then you start getting the idea that I think that might have been Thanos' plan all along when he gave the gem to Loki. That might be why he said, "Fine, I'll do it myself," because the plans that he put in motion kind of failed.
Right, exactly. Interesting story though about the bumper scenes. I was convinced that there were two. I think we were all convinced that there were two. So when we were talking about when we knew we were going to do this, I text Mike and I asked, what is the second bumper in Age of Ultron? I know about the Thanos one. You don't have to remind me about that one. And you said,
I said it was Spider-Man using his spider signal in the ceiling, wasn't it?
Yeah, which is from Civil War.
Yeah.
I asked Sean, a coworker of mine, the same thing. He said the exact same thing. He thought it was Peter Parker checking out like the spider light.
Yeah, because I was like racking my brain. It's like, what? Wait, what was the second one? And like that's the only other one that kind of like came to mind at the time.
The reason why they did that was Whedon didn't want to. He really didn't want to attempt to top the Thanos intro from Avengers, and everybody loves the shawarma scene.
Yeah,
but he did not want to try to attempt to top that. So it's the only, other than Hulk, it's the only mid-credit bumper with no final credit bumper, which was weird when we went to go see it. Now that I remember everything, but so yeah. No, Mike, where does this rank on your list?
This ranks number 9.
Same here.
Yeah, very nice.
Just ahead of Iron Man and just below. I can get my phone turned on here because I have everything on my G drive.
Written down.
Yeah, well, I'm more modern. And just below the Winter Soldier.
Wow, my Winter Soldier is way higher than yours.
Yeah, well, it's just because of my love for Civil War, and
actually,
my undying love of Guardians of the Galaxy.
For me, I have Age of Ultron right below the movie we're talking about next week.
Ooh, okay. Mike, do you want to tell the contestants what they win next week?
Yes, we're gonna go small, very small, about this big. We're doing Ant-Man.
I really enjoyed Ant-Man a lot, so I can't wait to talk about that. Yeah. So if you think we missed anything,
Oh, actually,
yes.
actually, one more good thing that it's on right behind you right now. The
yes,
the party scene,
Mullen York dick measuring scene
from start to finish, from like when they're all hanging out with all their fans and all that, and then right to the trying to lift the hammer. That scene is pure gold. Right down to the Stan Lee cameo.
The best part about this scene, though, about lifting Molyneux is the fact that they asked Tasha if she wants a try. She's like, nope, just not a question I need answered.
Actually, that moment right there where it just shifts slightly, just seeing Thor's smile go, just an instant drop, and like that's brilliant right there.
I gotta say, Chris Hemsworth got some great line delivery in this movie. Yeah. Because, whenever you do something right, you know what you say? For I am mighty.
And language.
Yeah. So anyway, if we missed anything about Age of Ultron that you want to comment, please comment below. Don't forget to click like and subscribe to Geek Salad if you haven't done so already. We're doing a video every week now, and then we're doing some extra supplemental stuff. I will have everybody know I missed 2 in my Oscar picks.
Which 2?
It was visual effects and cinematography. Both went to Blade Runner. They weren't in my number 1 or my number 2 picks.
I'm glad that the cinematographer for Blade Runner won.
Because it's Roger Deakins and he's been nominated 14 other times.
Yeah, and he does gorgeous movies.
He did Skyfall.
Yeah. I don't know if I agree about VFX though.
Well, whatever. It is what it is. I picked Star Wars, but I'm an idiot. So anyway, please check us out. If you like what you saw here, obviously, again, subscribe to the channel. But we do have a great podcast as well, Geek Salad, which can be got at geeksalad.podbean.com. You can either download the Podbean app and get every episode, or get the last year's worth of episodes from the Stitcher app or through the iTunes store. And you can also check us out on Twitter at Geek Salad Radio and at our Facebook page, which is just called Geek Salad Podcast.
Yeah.
So anyway, Mike, thank you.
Thank you.
Hell, thank you.
No, thank you.
All right, folks, we'll go forth. Be nerdful. We'll talk to you next time. And Excelsior.
No. Excelsior.
Excelsior.